day, Aces and Eights has been running roughshod around the Impact Zone is just a little bit of an understatement. But you know what? We're going to play by their rules. You know, they've got Joseph Park, and we've got everything set for Bound for Glory. But at the end of the day, I can't help but think how personal this whole thing is getting between me and Aces and Eights. I mean, Sting's had his run-in. The Town and the Backs had their run-ins. But at the end of the day, to single me out, brother, not let me in this war, this is more than personal. And you want me to watch? Well, I will watch. But the man that's in the trenches that you're going to have to worry about is the Stingman. And believe me, he's going to do everything in his power to keep Aces and Eights out of TNA forever. And he needs a running mate. And all night long, everybody on the roster seems to have the same vibe about Aces and Eights. But at the end of the day, we need somebody that can get the job done when it needs to be done. And tonight, the man that Stingman and I both agree on delivered not only one, but two mic checks right in the middle of this ring. That's why at Bound for Glory, Sting and Mr. Anderson are going to war for all of us in here, brother.
Wow. Gotta love it.
Oh, man. So, Mr. Anderson, please come out here and let us know that you're on the team, brother.
Just outside the Impact Zone. Anderson down. Anderson's
Somebody
lifeless.
get to Anderson. Find out. Where's he at? Get Anderson some help.
Taz, Aces and Eights strike again.
Where the hell are these guys coming from?
Do you see that? Do you see what's going on? You picked Anderson? Of all people, you picked Anderson over me? Would you please talk some sense into him? Look at what they're doing. Look at what they're doing right now to the guy that you picked. Anderson, that's the guy you want by your side? That's the guy you want going to war with you? If you're going to go to war, Sting, you go to war with the warrior. And nobody in this company or in this business has proved himself to be more of a warrior than me. You need to convince him. He needs me to fight for him. You need me to fight with you, and they need me to fight for TNA. Let him know that I'm the guy that's going to fight by your side. Let him know that I'm going to go to war with you, Sting. You know it's the truth. I'm the guy. I know you don't love me. You might even hate me, but you got to respect me. I'm putting my hand out. Shake my hand. I'm your guy, Hulk. I'm going to stand by his side. This is your brother. I'm standing by your brother's side.
Sealed. Who's better to go to war with Sting?
I'm going to war with you.
It's an ass kicker to take out and eliminate Aces and Eights, and that man is Bully Ray.
If you smell what the Rock is cooking.
WBCB presents Pro Wrestling Weekly.
Tell me he didn't just say that.
Call in with a question or comment at 215-949-3232 or 888-922-2149.
The Tower of Power, too sweet to be sour, funky like a monkey, holy yeah.
And now, here's your host of Pro Wrestling Weekly, Ferran Derry.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
Really? Yeah!
With more funding removed than Sesame Street, this is Pro Wrestling Weekly. Yeah, topical humor doesn't work in WWE either, nor does it work on this show. Hello and welcome. Ferran Derry here with you. Another edition of Pro Wrestling Weekly. We are on the air thanks to a football game being moved. Initially, I thought this week things were going to be off, but still plenty to talk about. Of course, as you heard in the opening clip, we now know who's going to represent TNA in the big tag match against Aces and Eights coming up at Bound for Glory 1 week from tomorrow. So far, we've got 7 matches for the lineup for next week. We'll get into that. Also, an interesting text message that came from the WWE folks about, 12 hours ago or so. We'll talk about that. Not exactly a great week for the Hogans, despite what you heard in the clip there. Got a couple of interesting and twisted updates in that regard. We've also got a WrestleMania update that, I hate to say it, the walls will not be broken down. Also, Sean Diavari choking out a racist. All kinds of stuff going on. And, of course, ratings not looking so good for either of the companies. We'll talk about that, as well as a John Cena injury update. All that still coming up. Plus, looking ahead to Hell in a Cell, we're 3 weeks away from that so far. 2 matches, at least definitively set. Of course, Sheamus and the Big Show for the world title, and Daniel Bryan and Kane, they will challenge the winner of the number 1 contenders tournament, which at this point is down to 4 teams. Looks like it's either going to be Santino Marella and Zack Ryder, Rey Mysterio and Sin Cara, the primetime players, Titus O'Neil and Darren Young, or Rhodes Scholars of Cody Rhodes and Damian Sandow. So that coming up, a whole bunch more. Let's go ahead and get to the phones. We'll get to all those interesting tidbits and news updates coming up in a little bit. First, we'll kick things off with Dan, who's been waiting patiently. Dan, welcome to Pro Wrestling Weekly.
Hey, Ron, what's up? It's Danny here. I'm good friends. I'm from the Northeast, and I'm friends with Eddie from the Northeast.
Oh.
Listen, I've been on the road a little bit, traveling around the Ring of Fire area down there in the Southeast Pacific Rim, and I have a 2-part question for you.
Hopefully I have an answer.
Okay, is it true that due to the injury to Triple H there, did he have to relinquish the belt? And do you think a viable run to the belt is achievable for Triple H? And thank you for your continuing greatness on the air.
Okay, little perplexed by the question. I mean, Triple H hasn't held the belt in a while. I know Cena's challenging for it, but at this point, Triple H, I mean, he hasn't been in contention for a belt for quite a while. I mean, could he get back into the picture? Is it possible? But I think at this point, that's why you see he cut the long locks of hair that he's had for close to 2 decades now. It looks like he's making his way into the corporate realm as he's now an executive. He's kind of the heir apparent to Vince McMahon once he decides to hand over the reins, which will more than likely literally be over his dead body. So I don't see Triple H in either title scene, whether it's the world title, of course, with Sheamus, or the WWE Championship scene with CM Punk and everything that's going on there. I'd absolutely be shocked, and not to say that anything can't happen, but it looks like we've already seen, because of the down ratings, we've seen an appearance of McMahon. I don't think we're necessarily going to go back to the tried and true give the belt to Triple H when things don't seem to be going well. Anyway, a couple of interesting bits of news. Speaking of looking a little bit down the road here, it looks like, at least for now, it's either official or possibly a swerve. The walls, they won't be broken down this WrestleMania. Of course, Chris Jericho saying that he will not be at WrestleMania 29, which of course is 6 months from tomorrow. Replying to a fan's tweet hoping to see him live at WrestleMania 29, Jericho posted on Twitter late last night, "Sorry, won't be there, but have fun." Jericho, of course, leaving WWE about 6 weeks ago to tour full-time with his band Fozzy, and he always sends the mixed signals to disguise a return, but it looks like Jericho and WWE haven't been able to agree to a new contract for a potential return. Jericho may also be busy touring with his band around the time of WrestleMania, and that would prevent him from setting up a match or a role, at least at this time. But plans are always subject to change, to say the least. And also, I mentioned things aren't necessarily so good for the Hogans. Well, first, there's a rather twisted update. Apparently, portions of the Hulk Hogan sex tape have surfaced online. The video, it starts with another man addressing Hogan and his female companion, and he says, "Listen, you guys do your thing. I'll be in my office if you guys need me." And then it shows Hogan, doing his thing in the video and talking with his female companion. Hogan's attorneys, meanwhile, they're threatening to sue if the video is not removed from the website that released it. The attorney telling TMZ, "This tape was made secretly without Hulk's knowledge or permission. We are going to do everything in our power to figure out who did it. Anyone displaying the tape will be held accountable to the fullest extent of the law." Anybody who opts to view something like that probably should also be held accountable to the fullest extent of the law. And the smirk on the face of producer Wild Bill Melody, I think that shows he's in a little bit of agreement in that. I don't know who's necessarily into that sort of thing, but if you are, hey, more power to you. Not exactly my deal. But other Hogan family members, not doing so well as well. Linda Hogan, she was, of course, Hulk's ex-wife. She was arrested on suspicion of DUI early Thursday morning in Malibu, California. Her blood alcohol level listed at .084, just above the legal limit of .08. Her representatives have offered their version of the events to TMZ, stating that she drank a glass of champagne on an empty stomach, which in combination with antibiotics exacerbated the effects of alcohol. Something tells me that one's been used one or two times before in some semblance of a defense. So how plausible is that? I really have no idea. And mentioned ratings, well, that's not exactly, those numbers aren't exactly looking good either. Monday's Raw drawing a 2.54 rating, down from the 272 that it drew last week. That's the lowest rating for Raw in 2012. They're averaging just over 3.5 million viewers compared to almost 3.8 million viewers last Monday. And when the ratings go down, the likelihood of a McMahon appearance goes up, and I've got a little bit more to say about that coming up in a little bit. TNA, they're not doing much better in the ratings either. Impact drawing a 0.84 rating, down from a .99. That's about a 15% drop. They're averaging just over 1 million viewers. This is also TNA's lowest rating of 2012. So I'm going to throw it out there to you. What do you think both companies need to do to steer things in the right direction and get fans back? I'm not really sure. I'll get a couple of ideas going, but, I mean, looking at these ratings, the only things worse are probably the ratings for my show. Okay, yeah, like I said, topical humor doesn't exactly work. Anyway, let's go back to the phones and get away from me running my mouth, because I know I've done a lot of that. Let's get to Ed, who can somewhat vindicate me here. Ed, welcome to Pro Wrestling Weekly.
Good afternoon. We have a ROH coming to Bell Vernon, PA in November with a 7 p.m. bell time at the Ice Garden.
Okie doke. Can't go wrong with Ring of Honor.
We have a logo in Phillips Hills, Peacerville.
Yes, the DWF show. Yes, that's
DWF.
Going to be over at the the Sportsplex there in Feasterville.
And the Monster Factory has a 2 p.m. bell time on October 27th in Paulsboro.
Okay, that's only that's about 3 weeks away as well. That makes for a heck of a weekend. Check that out, and then go check out Hell in a Cell the next day. So, interesting
and
look at the
OPW doubleheader November 17th.
November 17th. That's definitely a little ways away, but certainly something to mark down on the calendar. Thanks so much, Ed. Appreciate the look at the local scene as always. Let's go ahead and take care of our first bit of business. Come back. We'll take a look at what's going on over in WWE. Of course, JR Appreciation Night was this past Monday on Raw, and we've got a little bit of a clip from that. Plus, we'll look a little bit deeper into the feud between James Storm and Bobby Roode. Things escalating a little bit, and TNA fans getting introduced to the special enforcer, King Mo. All that coming up. Plus, we've got Ron hanging on. We've got some Facebook feedback, and some more news notes and other interesting tidbits here on Pro Wrestling Weekly. Let me give you the numbers. 215-949-3232. It's a way to reach us locally, or you can call toll-free at 888-922-2149. There's also the Facebook fan page, WBCB Pro Wrestling Weekly. A few fans jumping on there, getting more likes, follows, and a lot of activity on here, and Well, some of it good, some of it not so good, but I guess any contribution is a good contribution, and we'll look at a few of those coming up on the other side as well. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.